Hey guys, welcome back. And in the meantime, I've actually decided to start modding again. Now, the first bit is that it's not really going to show up for a while on CurseForge, GitHub and wherever until I'm happy with where I'm at with it. So this is actually me in my test world, as I'm planning on using this now in literally my main gameplay forever, hopefully. Let's quickly look. So aside from this, in the creative menu, we know with Fabric you get your arrow here, and I'm using the same name as a previous mod pack. Now do note these are mostly dev textures, which means they're not really done, and the seal block texture comes from the Fabric website, the documentation. So eventually I'll change up these two into a different resource, but it's a best temporary one. Let's set up. Going to need a crafting table, and let's quickly grab a chest so we can place everything. Now all that you will need is a bunch of iron, bunch of coal, 2 hearts of a sea. Let's see, a couple of breeze rods, blaze rods and wind charges. Let's quickly just place all of these in here. Ice blocks, which can be obtained here. Deep slate, let's actually grab a lot more just in case. And I believe this should be the majority of it, except for the obsidian. Let's not forget the obsidian. And I cannot recall if this is all of it. Now we also need a few diamonds. And let me just double check. And this should be all that we need. First off, let's grab all of these. Now this is just a temporary recipe in the crafting table, and the first one that we need is always the one that I get mixed around. 1 blaze rod for obsidian to get the fire core. Now in future we should add some smelting abilities to the steel set of tools, which I'll add, but this is quite useful already. We are going to need a few more. Let's get 2. Next up, a wind core, which we also need 2. Then the earth core, which we also need 2 of. Each of these will have its own individual buffs. Now, if I recall, the water one would probably be the worst, as you have to get a shipwreck each time, and Hearts of the Seas are a bit cumbersome to find. And you also need 2 of those. Now, I'm going to copy a bit of these over to make a stack of steel ingots. Then we can craft a steel block. Let's quickly look at its texture. So far this is still the coolest texture from the fabric launcher. Let's quickly put away all the extra items. And we will be keeping the cores on us, as well as a reasonable amount of this. Now I do believe we need 4 blocks. No, sorry, 5. And hopefully this recipe did not break, otherwise I will be quite disappointed. And there it goes. Now lore wise, the energy core is going to be like the central bit, and it's a combination of the other elements as well as its own element, signifying a way to combine all of them. Now maybe in future this will be like the unfinished one, and you have to process it so that the elements all join into one singular like crystal of sorts, which you can kind of see. Maybe this is halfway infused. Now I'm going to duplicate that, as I do not recall if we need one or two. Once again, I'm just gonna make some copies so that we have at all times. And in your playthrough you don't really need to worry about this as much. So fire, air, earth, air and water, and now we have to add our steel blocks. This grants you the ability to use the Paxel, which is quite a cool tool. Now I have designed this to be able to insta-mine logs in survival when you have efficiency 5 and haste 2. Before we start, let's grab about 4 more. Some bookshelves and enchantment table, let's quickly look at those. As this also has one of the highest in-game enchantability values. And this was specifically so that you have some ease of enchanting. So let's look. Efficiency 4 and breaking 3. Breaking 3. Efficiency 5 and I'm breaking 3. And I'm breaking 3. So I think something actually happened that leaves us to be at an undesirable state. And almost, let's see, we should be able to get lucky. And I am not fully done with this mod, so let's just take this one for example. Let's quickly just do efficient enchant at A, efficiency 5. And it will give an error because it doesn't have right level. Let's also go through the other steps of breaking. And in this case, let's actually do some silk touch. Yeah. This one can have silk touch and it can also have mending, which is quite useful. Now let's quickly go and check. As you can see, the logs are able to be stripped. Let's quickly check the dirt. It turns to paths, so this shows the use case. Now let's also grab some deep slate, as it will be an important thing to test as well. And back to survival mode. Let's quickly move all of these away and we start here. Base speed at efficiency 5, quite fast, similar to that of a netherite pickaxe. And with deep slate, oh, this is going to be so fun for everyone to test out. Now let's give ourselves the haste effect with an amplifier of 1 and 2. As we can see, it is haste 2. So not insta-mine worthy, unfortunately, but let's save our oak logs. Quite satisfying. Now also with dirt. And let's see the steel blocks as well, quite fast. So this is quite nice to have, almost instantaneous on certain blocks, and even on bookshelves at base it is instantaneous. Enchanter, also quite fast. So as we can see, this mod adds some very basic functionality. Eventually I'm going to have a steel tool set for every item and also add a lot more functions. So the main energy theme is going to be a mix of all the other elements, in which this would maybe be the imperfected item, which means it doesn't have all the functionality or all of the powers of the main item. and then maybe we have a perfected energy core which has the finalized or even stronger values than before main items. Fire will add smelting or even auto cooking of items maybe. Water would maybe allow you to have water breathing if done correctly, or allow you to mine water, which I know is implementable but difficult. Earth would, for example, give you more mining speed the lower down you go. And air would, for example, if you were to fall, take away some of that fall damage, or even maybe do some other cool things. Now, hopefully within the next few weeks I can implement this and slowly but surely show you guys some progress. Now, also, I am definitely going to expand this to have some tree types and have a much more concise UI. Maybe we start off with items, blocks and tools, but we'll see how that goes, or even maybe separate it out to the items, the blocks, the tools, etc., like the main inventory. Now, I know my voice isn't perfect or this video isn't very long, but I do truly hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.